Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I hope this will be an interesting time for all of us. Export has been a major focus for us as a country, and it has become extremely necessary for us to begin to see the need to export. It's so important that if we do not do it, sincerely, all of us are going to suffer for it. We're already suffering for it anyway, because all of us go to the same market and we buy a number of, because we are not very productive as a nation, we buy a number of products that are imported. And all these products that are imported are costly because Nigeria do not have enough FX to be able to pay for this product. So we have to now import them at a very expensive rate, whereas we could have prevented that if we are doing a lot in terms of export. Oil, we all know that, I mean, Nigeria is not generating enough forex again from oil because the oil is being stolen. And even for the sake of future, it's not something we should consider because it's a wasting asset. And with the way the world is going, talking about the fact that we are going to have to focus more on renewable energy, that also is making it very difficult for us to focus on oil. So the export sales flow today covers about 6 areas. So I have a preamble. I'll talk about the profile, talking about the industry. Then I will try to paint a picture for you of the industry. We did a research last year, and I'll be giving you the report of that research. And the reason for that research, because of you, is going to give you some insight into what should be your concern, what should be your focus when you are trying to get export customers. Then the problems, what are the challenges? How do we fix it? Then my proposal for the bankers, and of course, some of our programs that might be of interest to you. So if you look at the screen, you will see, can you see my screen, please? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
All right.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, all right. So you will see two initiatives of federal government. The goal is to increase our external reserve. You see Export for Survival from NEPC. He said our survival as a nation depends on non-oil export. Export for Survival, NEPC. Then we also have CBN RT200 FX. CBN RT200 FX, which I'm sure a number of us are very familiar with, even though it seems as if some bankers are still not aware of RT200 FX, because we are currently doing a survey analyzing the skill gap among trade professionals in Nigeria and primarily focused on bankers. And some bankers really said that they've not heard about RT, they are not aware of RT, they don't know what it's all about. Probably they've seen it in the news, not what it's all about. I will talk about that today because that affects us directly as bankers. Now look at the RT200. It's a race towards 200 billion in FS repatriation, exclusively from non-oil exports, over 3 to 5 years. Now let me try to explain how ambitious this goal is. Nigeria in 2019 exported non-oil export about $10 billion, non-oil. But that non-oil consists of a lot of scrap of vessels, scrap of plane, not production. So if we remove that from there, maybe we'll be left with about 3 or 4 billion. But let's assume, okay, $10 billion Nigerian non-oil export. In 5 years, if we are going to generate 200 billion, then we must generate an average of 4 billion per annum, 40 billion per annum rather. 40 billion per annum. But Nigeria is currently generating about 10 billion non-oil. But if you focus on agri and manufacturing, we probably are less than 10 billion. In fact, as of last year, according to NEPC CEO, Nigerian non-oil export was $4 billion. $4 billion. So if you look at $4 billion non-oil export, manufactured goods, value addition, commodities, minerals, not the scrap I talked about earlier. If you look at that together, you know that this goal is very ambitious. But it's good we have a goal. It's good we have a target we are working at. Even if you don't hit it, but at least it makes us to begin to think of how important this sector is. So what is the policy about to generate effects? Who are they meant for? Non-oil exporter. When is it taking effect? Why is it necessary to boost our foreign reserve? When is it taking effect? Second quarter. Which of the sector does this operate? Which of the sector does this policy operate? Export subsector. Where in that sector, agri, even though now I understand government is considering minerals as long as it's value add. And how do you benefit from it? By exporting value-added goods. Value-added goods. It has 5 anchors. Value-adding export facility, that is CBN giving facility a single digit to those that want to process. Second, non-oil export commodity expansion facility. CBN is giving facility single digit to those that want to increase plantation for cocoa, for cashew, and expand the production base of this commodity. The third is non-oil FS rebate scheme. CBN has started paying already. CBN has paid billions. I think as at the last CBN program in November, they paid over 80 billion naira to support and encourage those that are going into export. And then dedicated non-oil export terminal. Dedicated non-oil export terminal. And then biannual export summit. So CBN, to a large extent, is making good their promise and what they are trying to do. To a large extent, they've done the biannual. They are paying the non-oil FS rebate scheme. You are the banker, you will be able to let us know if the detail of value-adding export facility and non-oil export commodity export facility are out. Although I understand these are some of the initiatives of CBN before that the development finance unit is already has been working on. They just modifying it for the sake of RT 200 FX. Now, what are the implications of this? What is the implication for exporters? Exporters of commodity need to consider forward integration in order to benefit for value-adding export facility. Agro-processors need to partner with farmers as off-taker to help them assess non-oil commodity expansion facility. Internal and existing exporters need to begin to consider value addition in order to assess value-adding export facility. Internal and existing exporters also need to get foreign partners in a build, operate, and transfer arrangement to assess the value-adding export facility in order to build agro-processing plants in Nigeria. The non-oil FS rebate scheme provide opportunity for internal exporters to generate additional income. And the value-adding export facility also provide opportunity for private business, NGO, and state government to build share facility to process and package agro commodity. And CBN confirmed that they are getting responses, feedback. The fact that we did 4 billion last year is a good news. Upper year, we did much less than that. So to some extent, we are seeing some traction, and we're hoping to be able to do much more in this year because RT 200 is just 1 year by February. So now we will have run it by February, we'll have done it for a whole year. So second year, I'm hoping a lot of boost. But that will be made happen only by you guys, the bankers. Now, look at the word of CBN governor to the banks last year. I quote, I said to them at the meeting that the era is coming to an end when your customer has a demand for $200 million and you will move all the requests to CBN before or at the latest end of this year, that was end of last year. We will tell them, don't come to Central Bank for foreign exchange again. Go and generate your own proceeds. Fund the people who want to generate export proceeds. When they come in, you can sell your cost to your customer. You can sell to your customer. You can sell to your customer rather the $200 million. Now, maybe when we see the record of your export proceeds that you have generated, we will give you 10% of this. So you must go and join the race. So you must go and join the race of RT 200 FX. That is the word of the CBN governor. Those are the words, rather, of the CBN governor. Now, this is very important. Why is this very important? This is very important because it's basically sending strong message to bankers that it's not going to be business as usual in terms of getting FS from CBN. It's also telling importers that they need to re-strategize. Importers need to re-strategize. This means importers will have to work harder in order to get foreign exchange. In 2023, this means there will be we might expect an initial increase in exchange rate. Of course, we're already experiencing those increases right now. This means that many importers' products might become uncompetitive or non-competitive. We are seeing that already. Not competitive. We are seeing that already. That a number of importers, and it appeared to me that some importers are not aware of what is going on. And sincerely, you guys are the one that will be able to educate your customer that it's a big challenge they are facing. The fact that they need to do something about it is a very big challenge. It doesn't appear to me some importers have an idea of what is going on, sincerely. And I'm saying that because some of them still think it's business as usual. Some of them still think it's business as usual. Some customers already are no more competitive. They are almost closing shops. Why? Because they are not responding the way they ought to respond. They are not responding the way they ought to respond. This means most importers will lose market share, while few will gain market share. Those that will lose market share are those that do nothing. Those that will gain market share and those that do something about generating forex. In 2016, when we were through this route, we have a program. It's called Diploma in Export Business Management. A particular company, a PLC into production, manufacturing, sent about 7 of their staff. 7. And I asked them in class, why are you guys here? And they said, we want to generate our own forex ourselves. That company now does not have to worry about forex. Since 2016, they've been exporting. They powered their staff, and they were exporting raw cashew nut, cocoa, and they were exporting their own manufactured goods. This is the kind of things importers must begin to do. If they don't do it, sincerely, it's going to be challenging going forward. So those that will gain market share are those that do nothing, that do something rather, to generate forex. This is a wake-up call for all importers to become exporters of their own manufactured goods or commodities. Importers need to form alliance with exporters in different funding arrangements to generate forex. And you guys are the one that will make this happen. Now, let's move on to the profile. Can we analyze the industry a little? Let's analyze the industry a little. Who are the potential exporters? Ladies and gentlemen, your exporter, your potential exporter, are not the people you used to look up or look at or focus on. In as much as you should not take your eye away from the exporters, you should also realize there are many businesses who are now going into export. Why? To be able to generate foreign exchange. For example, importers looking for forex are your customers. In fact, I think that's a bigger market. And I'll prove that to you. In 2019, Nigerian non-oil export was about $10 billion. And like I said, it involves a lot of floating structure, vessels, and non-manufactured goods, not agri. Because agri and manufactured goods alone, we are hearing now is about 4 billion. The people who are importing Nigeria are largely private sector. And that is about, in that same year, total Nigerian export was 62.5 billion. Out of that, about 10 was non-oil export. That same year, about 55 billion was spent to pay for import. Now, so in Nigeria, Naira amounting to 55 billion is chasing dollar that is less than 10 billion. There are many importers with deep pockets looking for forex. If you are able to educate them, and this is why I suggested to the bank last year, you know, sometimes, I don't know why, you know, I used to be a banker. And as a banker, I know this strategy work. We moved from number 10, I was in Diamond Bank at the time, to number, I think, 2 or 3. What were we doing? We were doing seminar for exporter all over the country. Number one, it painted the picture that the bank is ready for export. All the people that register became prospects that our marketer went after. I've suggested this idea to bankers. Only few bankers are considering it. And sometimes when we do once in a while. I don't know why. Why is it difficult for banks to do seminars every month or every other month? It's Zoom now. The cost is less. It positions the bank as an export-focused bank. You're going to bring a lot of new customers to the bank. So we must begin to take this very seriously. Importer looking for forex. That's the way you get them. So you organize seminar for all your importers. Make noise about it. Make noise on radio. Do advert on social media. Talk, and send a mail to your customer. Let it be a regular thing. Let it be in series, covering different areas of export, from product to pricing to purchasers to the problem to the payment to paperwork. I mean, so many areas to talk about. You can do it every month. One, potential exporter, importer looking for it. Number two, exporter not in your book. This one for me is the easiest. The only issue is you need to pay for it. You know, sometimes marketer will come to me and they are looking for a customer. I said, look, you can buy data now. Look, if 10 of you raise money, you can put money together because data is expensive. If 10 of you come together, you have enough to buy for a whole year. A whole year. So you can actually buy data for a whole year. And this can be done. It's about 100,000 per month. 10 of you come together to do it. And you'll be able to get the data and you'll be able to do this. But for one reason or the other, we're looking, there are so many experts in your book. There are so many experts not in your books. The way to get them, go and buy data. Go and buy the data. The expert data is available. Of course, it's not available out there to buy, but we can assist you to get it. Manufacturers looking for export market abroad. Manufacturers looking for export market abroad. A number of manufacturers who import raw materials from abroad need dollar to import it. So they now want to export their own product. You know, 2020, a particular cost, no, 2020, I think 2021. I think 2021. A banker was telling me of a big manufacturer in Nigeria where you borrow money from abroad. A very common material that most of us use, but they are looking for dollar. But do you know the interesting thing? The distributor of this customer export his product to Europe. The manufacturer is looking for Forex. His distributor are generating Forex from his product. You know, sometimes they say common sense is not common. Established exporter looking for market in African country. Intending exporter looking for market for their product. And of course, companies that are looking. You know, there are IT companies that want to diversify their source of revenue. You know, a lot of IT companies pay Forex to their partners in Europe and America to be able to deploy those services in Nigeria. And they will pay, they will be paying Naira, and they need to pay Forex. They need this foreign exchange we're talking about. So what am I trying to say? These are your potential customers. So if you are going to do any strategy, ladies and gentlemen, do strategy based on this. Do strategy based on this. If you strategize on this, I'm sure you'll be able to meet your target. So why do you need to export? You generate float income from export, interest income from export, NSP charges from export, and of course, account maintenance charge from export. Where are you in terms of ranking of your bank in 2015? You were number 12. In 2015, number 12. In 2021, the bank was number 13. The bank is not doing well, but it's good because then everybody now wants to put in effort to be able to generate more. My suggestion to the bank is, sincerely, it's only he that is well that can donate blood. I think one of the major challenges is, you know, you need deposit from the customer. You need deposit from the customer. To get that deposit, you need to create value for the customer. You must give the customer the reason why he must do business with you. To be able to create value for the customer, you need to solve his problem. To solve his problem, you need to be competent. To be competent, you need to be skillful. To be skillful, you need to develop yourself. Either through training by the bank or through personal development. And I'll talk about some of our programs when I round it up. Sincerely, there is a limit to what you are able to do if you are not capable in terms of skill. And I think that's one of the challenges the bank have. So I think there should be aggressive capacity building. Either you do it yourself for yourself. I mean, in Yoruba land, there's an adage that said, it's what a bird has eaten that the bird will fly with. If you decide to develop yourself, it's for your own good. Of course, the certifications are not cheap, they're expensive, but what do you spend more money on if not on yourself? I mean, you know, you buy cars, build houses, these are depreciating assets, but you can develop your own mind. And then you can increase your capacity to deliver value on your job. So now, here are some of the top. So if you are looking for a customer, look at the top customer. From Indorama to Olam to Starlink, Metal Recycling, BAT, Olatunde, Dangote, Wakot, Valency. Let me tell you the challenge. Everybody is chasing this people. Everybody is chasing people. Everybody is chasing them. The people that they will listen to are those that are creating value. Are you giving them creative idea that solve their problem on documentation, on logistics? And I'll show you in the research very soon why will an exporter do business with a bank. And you will see your ranking. The exporter, we sample over 200 exporters, and they rank banks in Nigeria. You will see how they rank your bank. Because of the value being created. So getting these people, you must be bringing something else to the table because everybody is talking to them, which is why I said, why you should not leave them. You should also be strategic. Go after the importers who are looking for Forex. In the industry, the micro exporter are almost 1,000. Large scale, about 200. Medium scale, about 63. Small scale, about 241. How many of them are doing business with your bank? Because of time, let me move on very fast. So I will do this report. I will show you this report. And this report is very revealing. I'm hoping you'll be able to pick up some information from there. You can download the report on our website, 3timpexglobal.com. 3timpexglobal.com. But I'll give you a synopsis of this report to be able to demonstrate to you what you should be thinking of. You know, why did we do the report? We did a report for banks, sincerely. Most of the questions we asked, even though some of them are to help the exporter and the government, but I had the banker in mind because I feel a lot of banks are not getting it right in the way they are going about trying to get export customers. And I know if the bank does not get it right and fund these exporters, we will not be able to grow export. Remember, if we don't grow export, all of us will suffer for it. We're already suffering for it. What is the goal of this survey? To identify challenges of export business in Nigeria, to know the level of export trade rejection, trade finance rejection, to understand the reason for export trade finance rejection, to understand the features that characterize approved export trade finance requests, to identify the challenges faced by exporters in financing, in getting export trade finance requests approved, to recommend ways of addressing the identified challenges that caused export trade finance rejection, thereby bridging the trade finance gap. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a huge trade finance gap in Africa, and Nigeria is contributing a lot to that trade finance gap. So the goal of this report was to boost that trade finance gap. Let me give you a summary of that report before I go into the detail. This report revealed, number one, 59% of exporters. Listen to this. Listen to this. You know, sometimes we're trying to do something, which is the challenge of Africa, rather than researching to know what can I do differently. Because if you are doing the same thing the same way, you get the same result. You want to get the exporter. 59% of the sample exporter said they are attracted to a bank that render support services. A bank that does not have support service cannot grow its customer base. Support services. And I'll show you some of those support services. Support services, which involve assisting customer in market access. So 3 of them: market access, provision of trade information. Let me tell you, you need a place on your website where customer can get information on export. They're going to take you serious. If you don't position yourself and present yourself as a bank that has rapporteur of knowledge about export, you might not be able to get them. Trade information. That means I'm looking for information about ASAFTA. I'm looking for information about financing, information about product. We can find it on your website. So provision of trade information. If I walk through any branch of your bank, I should be able to get information of export. Immediately you do that. Immediately you do that, you know what will happen? They will be telling other people, go to this bank, go to Sterling Bank. They have enough people in their branches. So if the branches are not equipped, you know, sometimes when we do training, we just choose 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Everybody who is looking for exporter must be equipped to talk to the exporter. They should ask you questions and you should be able to reasonably answer that question. I'm basically saying you need to position yourself as a consultant. Trade information, export seminar, and other relevant export support services. 70% said they would do business with a bank that assists them with market access. Out of that 59, 17% said, if you are going to help me with market access by virtue of seminar, information, whatever support, they will do business with you. 11% of them said they will do business with a bank that can assist them with trade information. 11% said they will do business with a bank that can assist them with export trade documentation, not just processing NSPO, not just processing NSPO. They want to get certificate of origin. How do they do it? They want to get first-hand certificate. How do they do it? They want to get NAFDAC. How do they do it? 12% of exporters will do business with your bank. With a bank. With speedy service delivery. 12% of exporters said, if you have speedy service delivery, I submit my NXP, quickly it was processed. You got an alert that my NES is due, quickly it was processed. My document is ready to be sent to buyer, quickly, I don't have to be following up on you. 20% of exporters said port logistics is the major challenge they are facing. Let me tell you, if you can find solution to that, and there are solutions to it, there are advice you can give this customer. If you can find solution to that, you'll be shocked. Because these are unique selling points. Come to our bank, we will help you to ensure your good does not stay long at the port. You'll be shocked. If you are able to partner with Terminal to be able to create that service. 20% of exporters see inadequate access to financing as a major challenge in export business. 11% of exporters complain that delay caused by custom and government agency is a major challenge for them. 10% of exporters see the wide exchange rate differentials between the official and parallel market and the policy that compels them to sell at the official window as a major challenge to their business. 20% of exporters identify Zenith Bank as the most friendly exporter bank, followed by UBA, followed by Fidelity. 20% of exporters we give deposit to bank because of what? Because of what? Because of the account officer who has positioned himself as a consultant that will solve their problem. 16% of exporters we give deposit to the bank with good customer service delivery. Look at this one. 94% of the exporters said they have experienced a rejection of their export financing request. 94%. Even though eventually 11% said they have received approval. So that means effectively 89% did not receive approval for their export. The challenge is on the part of the exporter, but also on the part of the bank. This is why one of the seminars you need to do also is what they need to do to assess export financing. 81% of rejected export finance requests of Nigerian exporters are for pre-export. So majority of exporters, they don't need post-export financing. They want pre-export financing. 23% of exporters have experienced rejection of export finance requests from more than 3 banks. Look at this one. This one is appalling. 42% of rejected export finance were done without any reason communicated to the exporter. I came to you, submitted my request, you didn't even get back to me. 21% of the exporter of export finance requests were rejected because of inadequate collateral or lack of collateral security. So we need to find a solution to collateral, which is why I always recommend the bank. I know the bank do it, but I don't know the extent to which you do it. Structured trade finance, in which the goods is now being seen as collateral. It's being used as collateral, and even their equity contribution. 11% of exporters have received approval for their export financing. 100% of approved export finance requests by Nigerian banks are pre-export financing. 57% of approved export financing requests have letter of credit as the payment method. I will talk about that later on, because that's not a good news. And I'll tell you why. The usage of letter of credit is declining in the world. We need to begin to encourage our customer to embrace standby letter of credit and demand guarantee. 29% of approved export finance requests are open account, cash against document. 11% of exporters confirm that their account officer solicited gratification from them after loan approval. 35% of export finance requests were approved after 6 months. 6 months from commencement to consummation, 6 months. That is way too long. 20% of export finance requests were approved within 1 month. So some banks are not doing badly. 1 month, I think, is reasonable from the date of submission of application to the disbursement of the fund. Let's discuss this data in detail. In this data, in this survey rather, 65% of the respondents only export. 35% not just export, they also import. You will notice something. Majority of the exporters are within 5 years. NEPC confirmed that many businesses have registered for export in the last 1 year. They actually said over 1,000 businesses have registered for export in the last 1 year. That's good news. You now have to find them. And one of the ways to find them is to get those data. 20% are within 6 to 10 years. 14% are 11 to 15 years. 18% are above 16 years in the business. Look at the spread. We have spread across the country. Majority in the Southwest, 52%. Northwest, 17%. North Central, 17%. South, 11%. Southeast, 2%. Northeast, 1%. So Southeast and Northeast are really very low in terms of contribution to export. Of course, Southeast contributed a lot to import in Nigeria. Annual turnover, 11%. So majority of these businesses, majority of them are below 100,000. Annual turnover. 11% are above 100,000. Category of product exported. Agric, as usual, 56%. Manufacturing, 25%. Agro and processed agro, 13%. Minerals, 6%. Type of bank used by your exporters, commercial banks, 93%. Commercial bank, 93%. So majority are using commercial bank. 1% is doing non-interest bank. I know your bank have a non-interest bank unit. So let's look at what attracts them to bank. Remember I said it before. Can you see? 70% market access. If you provide support service on market access, ladies and gentlemen, you stand a chance. You can do seminar on this. You can do seminar on this. Other support services, 40%. If you have product paper for finance, export, 30% is interested. If you have documentation service, 11%. Speedy delivery of service, 11%. Relationship management, 7%. Trade information, 11%. If you do seminar for them, 6%. If you have web charges, 6%. Foreign exchange, they are getting from you, particularly importers, 4%. Now, major challenges they face: port logistics, major challenge. Access to finance, major challenge. Port issue, custom and government agency, major challenge. Exchange rate, another challenge. Of course, others include market access, raw material, poor infrastructure. Do you notice something? You know, I was on a radio program on Wednesday, and someone called and was talking about the challenge of infrastructure as a challenge to export. But the real sense of the word, the exporters are saying infrastructure is a challenge, but they have many other challenges. Many other challenges. Most friendly bank, of course, like I showed you before, even though about 23% did not disclose, but majority. Let me see where Sterling is. Only 3% said your bank is friendly. So that's a sign. This is a feedback from the exporter. We are not partisan in this matter. And it's good you're having this information because it also help you to be able to do something about it. What are their considerations when they are giving you deposit? Relationship management, quality of delivery, export support services. Those are the things that are of interest to them. Exporter rejected finance, 94%, like I said. Majority of export financing is pre-export. Rejected, pre-export. Reason for rejection. Reason for rejection. Collateral. Now let's talk about collateral. We need to begin to use goods as collateral. I know we're already doing it to some extent. It must be something we want to do. And that good as collateral also equity contribution. If the customer already has some goods in his warehouse and these goods can be moved to a warehouse under your own collateral management, collateral manager, of course, it should be considered. Some banks reject business because they are small. Some banks even say they are not interested in export. I'm sure they are now interested in export. And remember, 42% did not give any reason. Number of banks that reject the same export financing request, 62%, more than 3 times. So I went to 3 banks and they rejected. 23%, 1 bank. 15%, 2 banks. How about the one that were approved? 11% were approved. 11% were approved. Majority of finance requests are post-export financing. So they are pre-export financing. And here you have 11% of that. Look at the trend of usage of letter of credit in the world. It's been declining. It's been declining. The usage of guarantee and standby has been on the increase. I'm just addressing the reason why you must, of necessity, consider advising your customer to begin to consider guarantee and standby. 57% letter of credit, 29% open account, 14% advance payment. Soliciting gratification, this should not be encouraged at all. We just had to put this question, but we're shocked that this is happening within the banking industry. Equity contribution. I believe the customer should have a skin in the game, but if he has goods in the warehouse, that can be considered. In fact, I tell people that when a customer has goods in the warehouse, that for me is an evidence that number one, that the product is available, he can get it, he knows where to source it, he knows how to mitigate the risk. That should even show credibility to the bank that this customer knows what he's doing, rather than having cash in the bank. And like I said, it must be that you can move it to your under your watch. Collateral is a big challenge. It's a big challenge. 65% confirm that. Duration from start to finish. Ask yourself, even for your customer, what's the duration from start to finish? Sometimes it might be the fault of the customer, but I'm of the opinion that before you even submit to the head office, at the level of the branch, a number of things should have been sorted out. So you avoid or reduce back and forth as much as possible. The problem, remember, you want the deposit. To get a deposit, an income, create value for the customer. To create value for the customer, solve his problem. To solve his problem, become competent. To become competent, become skillful. To become skillful, you need to learn. To learn, training. and certification. Some of the problems exporters have are delays, demurrage, discrepancies, defective goods, dearth of knowledge, debt, losses, and dropout. These are signs of lack of export readiness. One of the support services that the bank can consider is to see how can you help your customer, particularly the importers who are new to export, to become export ready. You can take them through these criteria: promoter, product, pricing, predisposition, and purpose. These are company characteristics that need to be evaluated for readiness. Promotion, proficiency, production, payment, and positioning. These are capacity of the company in terms of capacity to fund, capacity to handle the transaction, capacity of the factory. Then the country the good is going. The people, the payment, so the potential of the product in the export market, and of course the paperwork. That's the country. And then the companion in the export market, partnership, and purchasers. These are readiness criteria. So the bank can develop support services around this. You can see the company characteristics. The promoter is the owner. The product is the item of export. Pricing is talking about the cost of goods. Predisposition has to do with staff exposure. Purpose has to do with reason for export. The payment has to do with getting funding and getting paid. Production has to do with meeting the market demand. Proficiency has to do with skill and competence. Promotion has to do with increasing awareness, and provisioning has to do with goodwill and heritage of the business. Potential has to do with market opportunity. Paperwork has to do with documentation. The people has to do with consumer. The purchaser has to do with agent and distributor at destination. And the partnership has to do with service provider at destination. Like I said, market access is important, and that's where the companion at destination become important. Now, we, being equipped with skill in readiness, can help us to get our customer to become export ready. Another challenge is financing. You know, when a bank is financing, you typically will not have issue with facilitating payment. You want to ensure payment is made. You ask for LC. Risk mitigation, that's why you ask for collateral. Trade finance product, that's why you create product paper. But the question is this: trade information flow. Anytime there's a trade finance, they have an issue, I sometimes ask bankers in those banks, just interviewing them to have an idea what went wrong. When they narrate the situation to me, I see 90% of the time trade information flow. Many transactions that go bad were not well monitored. You can't monitor what you don't understand. Remember, it's only he that is well that can donate blood. You cannot monitor what you don't understand. There are about 7 principles that should guide monitoring. There's a principle of information, of independence, of interrogation, of integration, of indicators, of inspection, and of incompetence. If these principles are not deployed, you stand a chance not to effectively monitor. If you are dealing with an unscrupulous exporter, of course, he might find his way in defrauding the bank. In reviewing export financing, there is a need for banks to rethink their underwriting model. I mean, the criteria for assessing the risk of an export transaction. I submit to you that many banks in Nigeria reject export financing. They have no business rejecting. But I can understand why you have to reject, because you can't understand it. If you are assessing, you need to assess the promoters, the product, the pricing, the purchasers, the paperwork, the policy, the payment, the partner, the protection that the bank has. For pre, for post, the promoter, the product, the pricing, the purchasers, the paperwork, the policy, and the payment. And there are a set of questions you need to answer. This is a whole training program on its own. a set of questions. You need to ask questions, ask the customer, and there's a credit scoring system. So the bank can say, anybody that's come more than 70%, we are going to fund with minimal requirement. Those that score between 70 and 89, we're going to fund, but with some additional requirement. And those that score below, we're not going to fund. It becomes easier to take an informed decision. So you don't chase away transactions that are good. Let me tell you, we have worked with two financial institutions, two business financial institutions. They're not commercial banks who are funding export. Ladies and gentlemen, there are businesses in Nigeria today who are not commercial banks, who are funding export based on this model. Some of them are having less than 2% NPL. They are having very low non-performing loan. And they are not required, and they are redefining export financing business in Nigeria. They already have put this model in place, so there's no customer. They don't even have to worry about collateral. But there's some customers, they will worry about collateral because they've had a set of underwriting system and credit scoring system that make them to be able to know. So you don't just chase away everybody. Because you are using the traditional way of financing. You must rethink. There's a lot of disruption in this sector. And I'm aware because I'm working with a couple of those organizations and they are doing it very well. And they are marketing the same customer you are marketing. After a while, you just realize that it's difficult to get customers. Because we are doing things, we are not rethinking the way we are doing it. We are still financing export the way we used to finance export, or we are still financing with the mindset we have before. But you can design a system and separate the good from the bad. So you don't put everybody in the same jacket and throw away the good customers. My proposal, that report, here are some of the findings or recommendations to the bank. Banks should form value-adding alliance with terminal operator to achieve reduction in time and cost of export business and leverage this as a unique selling point in attracting customer patronage. Leverage this in attracting customer patronage. Like I said, why is this important? This is important to be able to help you to create a sustainable, competitive advantage over competition. A sustainable, competitive advantage over competition. How do you generate this? A sustainable, competitive advantage over competition. This is one of the ways to do it. Export desk. I know your bank already have export desk. What I'm not sure of is how equipped the desk is. You might have probably one or two skilled guys, but you know, in Yoruba parlance, they say a rich man in the company of the poor is as good as poor. If you have few skilled people, it's going to affect the performance of the bank. If you have few skilled people, you need a lot of skilled people, not a few skilled people. And like I said, you can do this yourself. We have certification program that you can use to do this. Capacity building. I cannot overemphasize capacity building. Either personal or through the bank. What I tell people is, if the bank will not do it, you should do it for yourself. You know, sometimes like we leave our career advancement, we leave it in the hand of our employer because we say, some people will tell you, no, go and tell training school, they should be the one to pay for it. Forgetting that if you do the certification, it's his certification, it's his name that will be on it. Banks should provide existing and potential export customer target export services in form of trade information, periodic export seminars, and the like. Strategic collaboration with warehousing company, logistic company, collateral manager, to facilitate structured trade financing. Export friendliness. You must be export friendly. Collaborate with government agency, but export friendly. How do you know a bank that's export friendly? Everybody in the bank knows about export. There is export champion in every branch. They have information online to assist exporter. They do regular seminar for exporter. So many characteristics. You can look at the report. I've dropped a link in the chat. If you click on that link, you can download the report. So you can see a lot of characteristics of export-friendly bank. Let me talk about some of our programs that might be of interest to you. One of them is the one you are seeing on the screen, Certified Global Trade Management Professional. He said, get empowered to smash your target as a banker, to solve foreign exchange problem for your customer, prevent losses in trade finance, and solve import-export challenges. We call this the ultimate solution to international trade business challenges. The target are sales and marketing staff of banks, import-export managers, experienced trade professionals, and trade finance professionals. Luckily, we have a discount this month. The program is $600. You can pay to the school directly, or you pay us in Naira. But if you are registering, for those that are registering this month, you get 100,000 discount. If you are able to fill the form today, I will drop the link to the form on the chat. If you're able to fill the form today and pay that 10,000, you enjoy the 100,000 discount. This program equips you with skill to solve exporters' problem. And by the way, you can check our website. You will see on our website the testimony of bankers who have done this program. So you can see how they are already attracting exporters to their bank. I've dropped the link for that also on the chat. So you can click on that link to be able to register, to fill the form rather, for the certification program, Certified Global Trade Management Professional. Certified Global Trade Management Professional. We also have other programs. We have consulting services in setting up export desk, generating leads, developing support services, tools for credit analysis, and of course, finance monitoring system. Also, we have mentoring program for newbie in export and export coaching program for existing exporters. Here are some of the training the bank might want to do for you. Maybe you want to present this to your training school. The management are aware of this because I already sent it, some of them that have their contact. Structuring and selling export finance products and services. Marketing, managing, and multiplying export trade customer. Fundamental principle of assessing the risk of export business financing and managing and monitoring export business financing. As I close, remember also we have executive diploma in export business management and executive diploma in export trade financing. Remember, we have a discount for those that will be joining today. If you register for this program, we also support our students by giving them some data. For example, you can get a data for a whole month. That's a bonus for you. So by registering for this program, the data, like I said, it's 100,000 per month, but we can get access if you register for this program. Voice of African Trade. We have a YouTube channel. They have the person that introduced me was talking about. We've gone through the whole country talking about potential for export. You'll find it on this YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our channel, like, share, and drop your comment. I would like to say, if banks can consider and implement the recommendation resulting from the maiden edition of the Annual Trade Survey, Tax Stimulating Export Finance Growth in Nigeria, it increases the possibility of achieving the policy objective of CBN, Narrative 200, the proposed Export Survivor Initiative of NEPC, the program of federal government on diversification, even the profitability target of the bank, and of course, the prosperity of Nigeria at large. Thank you very much. I will await your questions.
Thank you. I think we should give Mr. Bamidele Ayemi for a round of applause for his time once again. You can do it in E form, you can